I'm waiting for him to come up with like super duper master
Yeah.
or something like that. They need a. I call them super duper masters. That's
Double-
what I've always called them. I invented super duper master.
Double dog master.
Lord. Yes, Bob, want to get your take. Speculation on the Twitter. Sherry Jacob has said, bookmark this. Priority is learning what Trump sold to whom and mitigating the damage. Get him on theft of documents and perjury and let him know they've got him on espionage and treason. Life in prison or the death penalty unless he tells what he sold to Putin, the Saudis, et al. Gets 3 years. I want to skip ahead to the good parts. As I was saying to Travis earlier.
Please do.
Let's just get to the parts we know that we're going to get to, right? I think Thom Hartmann wrote a piece about this, about we all know what's coming. I mean, he openly shared intelligence with, the Russia in the Oval Office. Like we know that Jared Kushner didn't get $2 billion for nothing from the Saudis. Like it's
right.
Anyway.
Yes. You know what? I have this conversation a lot on Twitter, shockingly enough. And that is that I'm hearing from people that, okay, well, yeah, you're saying he's going to be indicted, which I, honest to God, believe that Donald Trump will be indicted on one or more of these charges arising from the espionage thing with Mar-a-Lago and so on. And what I hear more often than not is...
Bob, most legal experts do. It's not just us being happy-clappy. Yeah. But go ahead. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, exactly right. Exactly right. And then what I hear is, oh, well, then he's never going to see jail time. I said, well, okay, come on. Let's step like 1,189. We're on step 2 right now.
Right.
Let's focus on, anticipating an indictment here. How much fun is that going to be? Imagine how much fun it's going to be when Donald Trump gets that knock on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's got his hairnet on. He's naked from the waist down, and he's got to be dragged out in leg irons. That's going to be fun.
I've heard you and Buzz on your show have the conversation about how do you do prison and Secret Service. Like, let's figure out those details later.
Yes. That's right. But, I mean, it's fun to fantasize about that. Like, he's got the ankle bracelet.
Yes.
And he has to be at Mar-a-Lago, but he can't go to the golf course. And he can't go to the prime rib bar. He just has to stay in his phony office.
I just hope he makes a run for it.
Yeah, that's right. That would be so great that if he was in like some form of house arrest,
right?
But they didn't let him actually go out and hobnob with his people and hold court. That would be a pretty good outcome as far as I'm concerned. It's just really a matter of. To me, it's not a matter so much of going to prison.
Right.
I just want Donald Trump to be uncomfortable. I want him to be stressed out. I want him to endure what
sad Mar-a-Lago DJ every night, like we talked about yesterday.
That's right. Lawrence O'Donnell refers to it as Donald Trump's sleep struggle, which I find that so wonderful. The idea that every night Donald Trump has to struggle to fall asleep because of the now 24 things. They're bearing down on his giant pumpkin head, including individual lawsuits. There's a new dimension to the E. Jean Carroll lawsuit that we're learning about today. Plus Fulton County, Georgia's is probably going to get him. He's probably going to be indicted because of the Mar-a-Lago document theft with top secret documents. Wonderful. And then at the same time, we're always treated to that guy who stands outside the court, the courthouse with the big sign. Like yesterday, he was standing outside. The one I'm talking about. He's got the big treason sign.
Yes.
He's trolling Paul Manafort. Well, he had one last night that said, Russian documents. That was it. And then he screamed at Trump's lawyers, "You're the worst lawyers in America," which was wonderful.
Fantastic.
So please, more of that.
You said it on Twitter. You said it's perpetually hilarious to me that Donald Trump is who they've landed on as their messiah, the weirdo cartoon character from New York. The talent bench was so desperately empty, they settled for this goofy, self-satirical tabloid con man. I mean, it's up to this creepy Nazi rally. You're just like, oh my God. At least once a day, we still are like, I cannot believe this effing guy was president.
It really is the very definition of drinking the sand. They couldn't find anyone else. So they land on this weirdo from New York that everyone knew was a con man for years and years and years, going back to the 70s practically. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we're stuck with that guy, so we'll take that guy, yes. And now he's our messiah. somehow.
What was the latest?
It's baffling. The
wouldn't-
bench was so empty that
Right.
they had to go with Donald Trump.
Right. I love that. What was the latest story, Travis, in the stupid book we're not buying? That, he didn't pick Nikki Haley as a
Right.
running mate because of her complexion.
problem.
She had a complexion.
Oh, my God.
And I thought he meant her skin, and I was like, you look like an Easter ham someone left in the sun. Like, what? But I was like, oh, it's racist. He
Yes,
meant,
yes.
too,
Oh, yeah.
too dark. Her complexion.
What did that guy say? He's a bloated sack of something like stuffed into a hot dog casing or something
Yes.
like that. Hot dog
Yes.
skin.
Like
That's
everything.
exactly right. Looks like he's got hot dog skin. Congratulations, Mr. Trump.
Every story
Sorry,
is more
not a
pathetic.
10.
What's this one? This is like the opposite of me. I have, just no men. I have perpetual no men. Trump had aides whose specific job was to follow him around to recite positive things people are saying about him on Twitter and elsewhere. He's just the saddest little creature. The key to keeping Trump's Twitter habit under control, according to 6 former campaign officials, is to ensure that his personal media consumption includes a steady stream of praise. When no such praise was to be found, staff would turn to friendly outlets to drum some up and then make sure it made its way to Trump's desk.
Oh, my
Oh my
God.
God. Oh my God.
What a
Yeah,
fragile
yeah.
little man.
Yeah, see, we're the opposite
Exactly.
here. They go out of their way to find mean things that people say to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we see something
Yeah.
on Twitter, we
Yeah.
can't wait to tell you.
Oh, you can't wait to tell me nothing's funnier to them? Yeah.
I ignore it.
He's got such a brittle ego.
He does.
Doesn't he?
The
Yep.
fact that
So
he
you need-
seriously is playing DJ at Mar-a-Lago every night, it's just, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, can you imagine though being on the receiving end of that when he finds out bad news? I mean, the
Yeah.
ketchup flying everywhere, plates, dishes. Just he's one of those guys that you have to calm him down. You have to offer him rewards, or else like a timeout or something like that. There's one or the other. You got to really handle him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Otherwise,
by the
you could
way,
get injured.
He's like a French bulldog.
you talked about
Yeah.
him tweeting about, Biden didn't get a good seat at the Queen's funeral, and you said Trump was seated 4,382 miles from the front row. So there's
And he has
that.
the nerve to say, okay, look, if I was there, I would be in the front row. Well, that's right. What if?
You
We
were
can talk
invited
about all
because
kinds
the
of what
Queen
ifs.
thought you were a boob. Oh my God.
If you ever lifted yourself off of a chair once, Donald Trump, you wouldn't look like what you do right now. But that's just a what if, isn't it?
Okay.
No.
Travis, you among others joked about this on Twitter, but if Biden came up with a cure for cancer. But you retweeted, Bob. Madeline said, Steve Bannon says Biden administration's initiative to cure cancer is a covert operation to eliminate the human race. And you just said every Republican up for election this year should be asked on the record if they agree with Bannon that we have to stop seeking a cure for cancer. I mean, it's a joke, but it's true. If Biden says anything, somehow it's bad, right?
Yeah. Oh, I predicted that. I
Right.
thought for sure. Okay, what they're going to say is probably, okay, what happens to all the people who have already had cancer?
Right.
Now, curing cancer now is going to be totally unfair to the people who have already had cancer. So we got to oppose it that way. But Steve Bannon's come up with an all new and ridiculous reason to oppose the cancer moonshot, which is that
Right.
Joe Biden is trying to create human 2.0. He's trying to create a new version of humanity.
Yeah.
And this is Joe Biden. Joe Biden's concocted this, bear in mind.
Yeah.
The guy who's allegedly cognitively disabled, right?
Yeah.
He's come up with not only a cure for cancer, but one that reinvents the human genome. I mean,
Yes.
that's essentially what Steve Bannon is saying about this.
Yeah.
As a means of, succoring his people.
Yeah.
Into
It's-
opposing a cure for cancer.
You quoted it. Newsmax, whoever, Carl, somebody floated civil war over a Trump indictment, and you just basically said it. We love America so much, we might just have to declare war against it. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't say it enough before these midterms, Bob, that they are anti-American. They are anti anything that is good for Americans, whether it's curing cancer, whether it's, this whole COVID thing. They jumped on what Biden said to, it's like there doesn't seem to be any sense of we anymore. I mean, the story about Putin escalating, it said a lot of his supporters are cheering for that. I'm like, including Tucker Carlson and people here that are cheering for Putin against Ukraine, right?
That's right. Well, because of American exceptionalism.
Right.
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 We're the greatest country in the world, except that we're not, is what
Right.
they're
Anything
kind
that
of
might be
saying.
bad
Yeah.
for Biden, they're like, oh, yay. Right. That might be. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that goes back to Mitch McConnell. Remember Mitch McConnell in 2009 saying that, or it was, God, I'm just merging everyone together. It was either Mitch McConnell or Rush Limbaugh who said that he hopes Barack Obama would fail. And it doesn't matter what happens to the economy. As long as Barack Obama fails, that'll be a good thing. And then I guess at the same time, Mitch McConnell was saying that he would make Barack Obama a one-term president.
Yeah.
This is something that goes back a bunch of years, wishing for failure of the entire nation so that they could win an election and say the Democrats have, fumbled the ball on this issue or that issue.